Hey there, guys. This is Sam
And Justin.
at the Survival Review, and today we're going to be reviewing a movie that I don't think either of us expected to review.
No.
Or expected it to be good.
Or expected to see in the first place.
Yeah. But we're reviewing Edge of Tomorrow, starring Tom Cruise.
Yes.
Where do we start with this?
Well, I guess start with what we expected.
What we expected... Crappy Tom Cruise action
Generic.
future Groundhog Day.
Yeah. I've ever seen that we saw the trailer before Godzilla. I guess because it was like an IMAX, it was like a special 3-minute trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, get over, I don't care.
Yeah. And
like,
that's something worth mentioning is that the trailers for this movie
movies were bad.
Were just plain bad. They
bad.
did not describe the movie how it really was.
The marketing for this movie was just bad.
Exactly.
Because this movie's awesome.
It actually really is pretty awesome. Well, first thing that the trailers I felt didn't express very well was the actual character that Tom Cruise plays.
Yeah.
They played him off in the trailers as this action
as Tom
hero.
Cruise.
As Tom Cruise. But throughout the beginning of the movie, he's not.
No.
He's this kind of... He's not a soldier.
He's like a general, but he just got up in the ranks because of how smart he is and stuff. Not for actually doing anything in the field.
He never fought in any wars and never wanted to.
No.
He's a coward.
Exactly.
Which is part of why I really like it, because I get sick of Tom Cruise, but when he's playing a character that's not necessarily his norm, it could be interesting, and this was definitely not his norm.
No, and that was good. I mean, up until the middle towards the end, that's when it became a little more generic Tom Cruise, but...
It did, but the storyline itself was interesting enough to keep you into it too.
Yes.
The storyline, let's get into describing that. We mentioned it's comparable to Groundhog Day in the sense where it takes place in the future in this sort of alien war.
Which I don't know if that was interesting, was the opening of the movie. All the news and stuff. And it was a pretty realistic way of an alien invasion.
Exactly.
I thought that was really cool.
It was well done.
Yeah.
And it's just an interesting way of exposing you to the world that they're in. It's not necessarily post-apocalyptic, but getting there.
Yeah.
It's the point between the normal world and post-apocalyptic. And so they're in the middle of this war, and we're losing. Mm-hmm. And Tom Cruise gets
He gets that was one that I thought was a little weird at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
He gets forced to go there, to go on the front lines in the middle of a big battle, and to be on the first ship sent out in this huge battle.
Everyone knows he's being sent to his death.
Yeah.
He's not going to survive this, and he knows it, and he's scared, and he's a coward, and there's a lot of comedic moments with that.
Yeah. And he ends up getting something. He ends up.
They go on to the beach.
Yeah.
Where this war is taking place, where this battle is taking place, and
it was
a really really cool battle, and
awesome.
you get to see it quite a few times.
Yeah. Because in the middle of the battle, what everybody expects would happen does happen. Tom Cruise dies.
He dies.
But then he wakes up at the beginning of the day again. The day before.
Exactly. And what happened that they explain later in the movie is that the alien that he killed, which they call mimics, by the way, was a very specific kind and a very rare kind, that when he killed it and this weird blue blood covered his face and killed him, that's what gave him the power to wake up every single day.
Because the aliens have that power, and that's how they've been winning all the battles.
Exactly.
It's just if they lose, they just reset the day.
Yeah. So. And that's why they've been winning all these battles. But they also, another character that's very important to the story is this female soldier.
Yes.
I can't remember the actual character's name, but they know her
I know the actress's name, Emily Blunt, but I don't know the character.
They know her as the Full Metal Bitch.
Yeah.
And she was known...
She's a badass, basically.
Yeah, she was known for having won one of these battles. And the reason she won that battle was because she had this power before Tom Cruise did.
Yes.
and so she's the one that helps him out in figuring out what to do with his power and how to win this war.
Yeah. And then so the movie's based is him reliving the day, getting further and further, and to stopping and finding the spot where like the total big command center of everything is.
Exactly. So it's this clumsy, cowardly guy, each day learning from each mistake that he makes to become less of a coward and just more of a badass.
Yeah.
And it's...
And one of the things the movie does really well is he does the thing where he relives the day a lot, but it never feels like dragged on.
Exactly.
Whenever he relives the day, it never feels like, here we go.
They did it really, really well, which was something I was worried about. Like, when I was going into it, I thought this is going to be really repetitive, but it didn't feel repetitive at all.
Because it happens a lot, too.
Yeah.
So. And there's some really, like, funny moments in that, too.
Yeah, because he has to die each day. That's how he keeps the power. He can't... he has to die in order to wake up the next day.
But there's scenes where he's just like, he's running, everything's going good, and he just gets hit by a car, and he wakes up again.
Or when he's trying to escape from this marching line. So he tries to roll underneath the truck and then gets run over. So he tries it again the next day and gets it.
Yeah, that part was hilarious.
And it's got a lot of really good comedic moments, and it never really feels out of place. It's done well. It's really balanced between the actual action and the seriousness and the comedic moments.
Yes, and the action scenes are like amazing.
Yeah,
they're so well done.
They are. The effects were really good.
The effects are great.
The only effect that I would say in this movie was bad was when he dies the first time and gets the acid on his face. It looked cheesy, but it's one quick shot. And
but the rest of the action, like
everything else is good.
The first time you see the battle on that beach, that scene is insane.
It really is,
and it's just awesome. And then there's a whole action scene at the end too, and then that action was also really cool. Just the action was great, and the story was good enough too. It was good.
And since we've already spoiled a decent bit, should we just spoil a little more?
Yeah, why not? Well, now we're just talking about spoilers.
Yeah. Toward the end of the movie, he loses his power. As I can tell, I was actually invested in it. When like he was waking up and you see like all the blood, and I was actually like, oh no, wait, shoot. What's gonna happen now? Because the power was in his blood, and when they gave him a blood transfusion, he knew that he lost his power. And so the rest of the movie from that point feels a lot more intense because like earlier on in the movie, if he dies, he just restarts. But now,
if he dies, he's screwed.
If he dies, we're completely screwed. There's no resetting, and it really makes you a little uncomfortable because you're so used to the norm of the movie, like from that point of him resetting the day, but now he can't.
Yeah,
and so now they have to go and find this Omega and kill it in order to stop the aliens. And it's just...
The whole climax is really good.
Everything about it was really well done.
Yeah.
And the characters were really cool too. There were some really cool supporting characters in this group of soldiers that he was in. They were interesting characters, and you see them die a lot, but they always come back to life, and you're like... They're cool. I liked the characters in that group.
I thought it was interesting, though confusing at first when they were like, because there's a couple of scenes where he'd be doing something and then he reveals that he's actually already done this like 10 times.
Yeah.
But we never saw it.
Exactly.
I thought it was kind of cool, but a little confusing.
It was a little confusing at first.
I get it.
But then you figure it out and you're like, oh, okay.
I understand. Like that scene where they're like at that kind of like I don't know, like barn there with the helicopter.
Barn with the helicopter, and he reveals that he knows this is where she dies.
Yeah, because he's relived that day like 10 times, but this is our first time seeing the scene.
Yeah.
It was different, which was cool, but at first a little confusing. I was like, oh okay, I get it now. And one flaw I kind of thought was with the ending with the having the two main characters kiss. That felt a little forced.
It did, and
I thought it felt actually a tad out of character for Emily Blunt's character.
It really did.
It felt out of character for her.
But like with audiences, they're like they've got to kiss.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it would have just been better if they had left that out. But whatever. That's a minor flaw. It's a minor flaw.
It's a minor flaw.
But yeah, it was just.
really good.
Surprisingly
really
so.
entertaining.
And that's why we're reviewing it, is because it
Yeah.
was surprising.
Mm-hmm.
We did not expect much from this movie at all.
Out of 10?
Out of 10, I'm going to give it an 8.5. It has some minor flaws,
Mm-hmm.
but like overall, really surprisingly good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give it an 8.5 as well.
8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I guess the word to describe this movie is surprising.
Surprising. Yeah.
It came kind of out of nowhere.
It did. And it kind of sucks that it's not doing so good at the box office.
Yeah, it's not doing very well at all.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah, check it out if you get a chance.
It's not the best movie out there, but it's...
No, it's not perfect. We're talking it up quite a bit. It's not a perfect movie, but it's definitely entertaining. And
kind of like how we were saying how like Godzilla, how we both said that wasn't a great movie, but it was just very entertaining.
Exactly.
This is like that. Except this is a little more original than Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually has a really intriguing plot that keeps you going, and then great action scenes to help out too.
Exactly.
Just makes it an awesome movie right there. Can't go wrong with that.
You can't. So, that's about all we've got to say about Edge of Tomorrow.
See it.
See it.
If you haven't already. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for watching the video, you guys, and we'll see you later.